On average, every U.S. consumer drinks 30 gallons a year in bottled water. So that's 200 bottles per person per year that's going into a landfill.
When I take my Kor bottle and I plop it down, for me it's much like when I have my new iPhone. You know, there's a sense of pride.
The story goes, I was drinking out of a Gatorade 32-ounce bottle. You know, everyone does this. You get a bottle like a Smart Water bottle or whatever. You refill it out of the water fountain, you put it in your fridge. So about 4 or 5 months goes by, and my wife says, you know, that's a bacteria trap you've got in the fridge. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, you haven't cleaned that thing in, 4 months since you've had it. I go, well, I run hot water on it. So I Googled, drinking out of a PET bottle, and it's scary. There's studies that show after a week of drinking out of a bottle, E. coli develops. The PET that it's made of was meant for sort of single use. So lo and behold, I said, okay, this is a problem. So I go down to Sports Chalet, and nothing wrong with those reusables, but as designers, you guys know there's good, better, best, and clearly in this category there was just sort of good. Reusables filled a need. It was not a want product. And why can you buy a Coach bag? Why can you have a Kenneth Cole and an Old Navy? But in the reusable category, it was still a college campus sort of experience, a backpacker experience, and that led to the whole sort of design of a reusable. First and foremost, we set out with design because sustainability and the environment were certainly big growing trends, but we wanted to build a brand that was about sort of personal fulfillment, using design to attract consumers, because there was already so much out there sort of guilting consumers into drinking out of a reusable. And for us, it was how do you motivate consumers, right? Because you can push some segment of the population, but if you're really going to make an impact on bottled water, you've got to lead people. And so we looked at bottled water, we studied it, and if you look at Voss and you look at Smart Water and you look at what people do, I mean, for us, the bottle was the experience. And everyone's coming out with reusables now. And certainly in the outdoor segment, there's this sensibility that plastic bad, stainless steel, better, and aluminum, if it's lined, it's better. And there's not a lot of knowledge about alternative plastics. And certainly, there's this stigma that everything contains BPA. But for us, it was a big issue. When we created this bottle, we wanted to look like a sort of a beveled glass base and be able to see the water. And you can't do that with aluminum and stainless steel. So the material kind of worked out for us.
One of the things we latched on to was the ability to mold a product and create something that almost had the look of glass. So there's a bit of a metaphor of the cage around the bottle. So there's a metaphor of that this is something precious. And the plastic, we were able to design it in such a way that we varied the thickness so that it looked a little bit more like glass to give it some depth. And that was more seen as just a great opportunity. That was something the engineers and designers at RKS latched onto and really embraced.
We all talk about recycling, but the reality is we need to stop consuming. And we consume so much because typically we're buying products that are crap, that have a shelf life of about a year, and then we dispose of them. And if you think about the things that, in your closet or in your house that you held on to, you just can't throw away. It's typically the thing that you spent more money than you should have, but it was a great purchase. You've gotten a lot of use out of it. And before you throw it away, you're going to re-gift it to someone else because it's just not garbage. And design really is a differentiator that no one talks about in sustainability. Because if we made less crap and people bought something once, it would go a long way, beyond recycling.